And we're back here at Boom and Bust. My guest is Matteo Cimellaro. He is a public service reporter at the Ottawa Citizen newspaper. Matteo, you mentioned just before the break the Canada Revenue Agency, and anyone who's tried to get a live person on a line knows the frustration and difficulty of doing that. Carney government has promised big that there's going to be a plan to solve that problem in the next few weeks, really. Any news on how that's going?
Well, there's not going to be any funding moved to CRA, so they're definitely going to have to just kind of move personnel around. So we'll see. It's to be seen. We're going to obviously going to see some kind of accountability when Parliament resumes. I'm sure that there's going to be some officials going into parliamentary committees, and we'll see what kind of maneuvers they'll be able to do in terms of their own processes. I know they're working and moving towards a callback feature and really deploying that. We're seeing some serious messaging from the Carney government in terms of trying to improve those call centers. And, from what I'm hearing, it'll be difficult because there's not just a backup at the call centers, but there is some delays on the back end of the tax centers. So again, it's going to be difficult to see how they're going to maneuver in the next 100 days, and then also how the spending review on top of that. Because right now, the hits to the CRA is from the Freeland era budget spending review. And
Right.
so with another spending review on top of that, a lot of questions in terms of how they're going to navigate more cuts to the CRA.
Well, this is a very interesting point because obviously the public service does deliver some very important services to Canadians. We're just talking about the CRA, but it's not just the CRA. Yet Canadians are dissatisfied with the level of service that they're receiving. Let's be clear. So, what really needs to change, do you think?
It's a great question, Tony, and I'm not sure exactly. Obviously, more resources, but we've seen during the Trudeau era, throwing money might not necessarily be the best course of action. I mean, he ran into problems at the end of his tenure there. It's interesting because Canadians want a kind of reduction of the public service. It
Mhm.
has grown exponentially more than any other sector, but at the same time, they don't want hits to their own service levels.
Right.
So how do you navigate that? Can you deploy AI at certain points? That's what we've been hearing. Efficiencies. Is there something else they could do? Can they call back term employees? One thing that happened with the CRA, for example, is they put a pause on student hiring, and they've been ending a lot of term contracts, which terms and students are not as much money as an indeterminate, a full-time employee, right? They don't have the same level of salaries and benefits and so on. So
Sure.
is there a way to use to operationalize some of those techniques or staffing levels? Obviously, you're going to have to navigate with the unions. I know unions are a huge fan of increasing student employment to as a stopgap rather
Right.
than transitioning people. I mean, that's one thing they did too, is put a pause on moving temporary employees to indeterminate or to full time. So no easy answers. Um, would not want to be the head of the CRA right now. But again, they want to make a signal that they are reducing government spending. So how are you going to navigate that when you're already seeing CRA service levels before you even make that significant reduction? So I'm not sure, and I guess I'm like you on the front court seat, seem to
Yeah.
see what they do.
Yeah. Waiting to see for sure. I mean, you saw this a little bit, this debate, again, involving public sector unions and public servants on the back to office mandates, right?
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about where that's landing.
Well, still nothing from government. Even though I keep asking. So no movement in terms of changes. We've heard Doug Ford obviously make his move
Right.
and a
That's
full-time return to
five
office.
days a week. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
5 days in January, even saying going as far as that the federal government should do the same. The city of Ottawa is moving to 5 days a week as well. So every other kind of public sector employee in Ottawa is going to be 5 days, except for the federal government. There is a question about how the federal government would would navigate this, given that they've made a commitment to reduce office space.
That's
So
right.
there is some tension there. But we'll wait and see. Does Cardi want to send everybody back into the office based off culture? Is that going to open up another fight, another front in a battle with the public sector unions when you're already going to see some layoffs? So it's a kind of political question as well as a
Yeah,
management
no,
question.
lots of moving parts there. Matteo, we're going to take another break. We'll be back with you after these messages.